Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Hcast episode 37. We've got a pretty light show for you today. Not massively huge. We're going to be talking about Transformers Rise of the Beast, getting some pretty decent reviews, and just that, I guess all the sort of box office predictions were generally wrong, which we covered here before. We're talking about Elizabeth Olsen, the Scarlet Witch herself, getting so sick and tired of the rewrites that she stopped reading them on Doctor Strange 2. So that's hilarious. We'll also be talking about the recent closure of the Star Wars themed hotel, why it was closed, who closed it, despite the fact that they were looking to retool it to certain bits and pieces. So that's funny. The Witcher showrunners come out and made some really dumbass comments. We'll be talking about that. Why won't we? Of course we would. And one last but not least, we talk about Terminator, because you guys who have your notifications on my channel, the main one, would have seen that James Cameron had been writing a film. Yeah, I know. A new Terminator film, and stopped. Why did he stop? Well, I know. The guys on the panel don't know, and it's super dumb, and I can't wait to hear their reactions. So, ladies and gentlemen, a few bit of housekeeping here and there. You want to join in the conversation, please use the super chat function. It goes a long way, helps the channel out, helps out, helps me out. It's good. Do it. You get your voice heard. Thanks so much. Super stickers as well. Everyone's channel is linked down below in the description box, along with a second channel, which is Mr. H Reviews Live Archives, where these podcasts go up after the fact, as well as all the best bits and clips. I'm not going to lie, I'm a bit behind on clipping all of them at the moment. I'm just struggling with time management because I am so fatigued. I'm literally ending up falling asleep here at my desk very often lately. So, soz, but we'll get there. So joining me today, as always, on the Thursday podcast, we've got Culture Casino. How are you doing?
Extraordinary. It's been a wonderful day so far. I'm glad to be here. I want to hear the dumb reason that James Cameron is not doing Terminator. I can't wait.
I think it's dumb, personally, but we'll see. I'll posit my argument for you all, and we'll see if you think it's dumb. Andre, how are you doing, Chapo?
I am doing good. Just like you, I'm also struggling a little bit with time management, which is why there haven't been too many clips over at Midnight's Edge Live Archives either, but hoping to get caught up in the next week or so here.
You just need one good day to blitz it all. That's what.
Yeah, I know, but you need to find that one good day. That's the issue.
I know. God, trust me. I know.
And that's the time management. I haven't had that one day in a while. Because people think it's easy, but clipping actually takes it takes a day. It takes a good day to clip like a show or two.
Oh, it's a whole normal day of work, basically.
Yeah,
this is what you're doing. It's a lot of stuff. We've got Tom Connors. How are you doing, chap?
Are you hearing me okay?
Oh, I can now that you've spoken, yeah.
Okay.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I was just checking.
Okay, I mean, you're a bit faint, actually. To be fair.
Yeah. Now you sound like George Lucas. Yeah.
Kathy, speak again.
What the hell's going on with my sound?
No, seriously.
Elevate
test your mic. Are you all right? How are you? Speak.
I can hear myself. I can't.
Now it's fine.
Okay. All right. Well,
just been acting up too. So.
Yeah, it's a bit faint. But just as a quick one, ladies and gents joining in the stream right now. Tom hasn't asked me to do this. He hasn't asked anyone to do this. He shared this over on Twitter. I shared it. I know some fantastic people on Twitter that follow me helped bump it up to the target. But unfortunately, Tom's dog, I'm a doggo dad. We all love a doggo here. They're parts of the family. And again, Tom hasn't asked me to do this, but one thing I will say is Tom's dog requires some pretty hectic veterinary help. So linked in the chat right now is a GoFundMe. I'm asking you to donate. Not Tom. I am asking you to donate. It helps a lot. It goes a long way. Vets bills are one of those things that they just chuck on you. And you just do it. You have to, because obviously they're parts of the family. Just like a kid, you're not going to not do it. You just do it. And unfortunately, if times are tough, you're a bit up shit's creek, really. So it's in the chat right now. Please do donate anything you can. It all helps. Again, I repeat, Tom hasn't asked me to do this. I'm doing it. I'm asking you to do it. So anyway, moving on. Nick, how are you doing?
Doing good. Getting ready for our big EBN meetup at the, like Culture likes to say, the ICCCCCCCCCCCCon in Nashville, Tennessee this weekend. We got a chill stream tonight. We're gonna have guests running the Saturday night show. It's gonna be a fun weekend ahead, and I know everything we're talking about here today, and it'll be a fun show today. So looking forward to it.
Good. Excellent stuff. One thing I will say, guys, I'm going to pin the GoFundMe link for Tom's GoFundMe at the top of the chat. So, as you drop in, Olaf will do some promotion of that as well. But yeah, please do donate anything you can. It goes a long way. Tom, do you want to speak a little bit about that? I don't want to get you upset or anything like that.
No, I appreciate it, and everybody's been very supportive, and I thank all of you guys who've helped out one way or another, whether it's just sharing the link or if you were able to donate. Thank you. Like Mr. H said, I didn't really want to ask in the first place. It's not something I normally do, but I hate asking for help or even talking about my personal life. But yeah, it's just been one of those weeks. And when I found this out, on top of everything else, take Sadie in for a fairly basic checkup and what I thought was just a sore. Turned out to be a tumor, but luckily it's benign. But it still does need to be operated on. And as you said, those bills come fast and furious. And hopefully it's enough. But either way, it's going to definitely help for sure. So thank you all so very much.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll tell you, I mean, those that have been with the channel for a while will remember what we're looking at almost like 5 years ago now, when Jasper was just a puppy and he snapped and twisted his leg. So snapped it, twisted it, and that was all across Christmas as well. I mean, that was like £6,000.
Wow.
Just gone instantly. And that was unfortunate, because that was literally just because his puppy pet insurance had just lapsed across the Christmas period, and you can't renew it because obviously everyone's closed. So it was one of those awkward times where me, as an owner, a new owner to a dog as well, just hadn't quite had that forethought to get it done in time. So it's my own fault. But yeah, £6,000, it's a fucking lot of money. But you just do it. Like, you just have to do it. It's one of those unfortunate things that, they creep up on you. You do it because they're super important to you. And just is what it is. So any help, guys, it's linked at the top of the chat right now. It's there. Please do drop in.
Yeah.
And donate.
The company I work for, they actually just started offering, on top of my regular healthcare benefits, pet insurance. And so I got it for my dog. I didn't even know anything like that even existed.
Wow. Yeah, to all those that are surprised, well, there's only one person that seems to be surprised that you would spend £6,000 on a dog. Well, that's because they're important to you. And if you have a heart, generally speaking, a bit of compassion in your bones, you would, you would do it in a heartbeat. So
yeah, that's the person that's never had an animal.
Well, apparently he has, but I would say the fact that he's a bit surprised that you would spend that much on a dog it speaks more volumes.
Well, goldfish doesn't count.
That person's
well, no,
soul than anyone else.
Cross your mind, like, what if I can't afford it? What's my options? But it was also one of those situations where just all the tests alone already cost out.
Oh, mate.
So it was just like, I mean, that's already what it's costing me. So it's one of those things at that point where, like you said, it's about the animal, it's about the pet, their family member. It's hard to think about those kind of things, but thankfully, because of you guys and all the help you've given me, I don't have to worry too much about that now, hopefully. So now we just have to get to the other end. So in about a week or so, we'll know. So there we go. Thank you so much.
Good. No, you're welcome. Right, let's get on to some more. Well, actually, we've got some super chats that dropped in. Let's just address these first. Guys, if you want to help out the show, I'm This just sounds like I'm asking for your money today, doesn't it? Sorry. But if you want to join in the podcast, obviously the doggo thing separate. You want to join in the podcast, super chats are the way to do it. So we've had 2 already today. So Shirogami for $10 says, Andre, the literary Arthurian romances are similar to the Norse King's sagas. Check out the 1981 sword and sorcery film Excalibur for a crash course. In my opinion, a classic on par with Conan 82. Opinion, Mr. H. I think I remember Excalibur being pretty decent, if I remember rightly. It's a bloody long time since 81. That's a long time since I've seen that. Let me have a look.
Yeah.
What do you think on that?
Well, first I want to say, thanks for the tip. This is actually refers to something we spoke about at Midnight's Edge in the morning yesterday, where I don't know exactly how we did it, but somehow we started talking about the Arthurian legends, where I admitted that, you know what, I'm ashamed to admit this, but I'm not too familiar with them, other than that I know there's an Arthur, and I know that he had a table of knights, and this table was round because there was no leader, and there was Merlin the wizard. And I do know that they have similarities to the Norse King sagas, but outside of that, I don't know too much about them, other than the vaguest of generalities. So that's like a gap in my knowledge I need to fill in. And I'm familiar with the movie Excalibur. Actually, I do have it somewhere, but I need to rewatch it. Also, I do believe the Green Man, isn't this somehow connected to the Arthurian legend too? Because I know the A24, they put out a movie.
You talking about the Green Knight?
Green Knight.
Green Knight, thank you.
The Green Knight's very sort of Arthurian legend, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. I've just seen so many pubs that are called the Green Man, which I'm sure must have.
Well, there's sort of multiple levels of the Green Man, because there's many different interpretations and versions. So there's
but this is all connected.
They're all sort of
legend, right?
Yeah. It all sort of stems from. For all intents and purposes, it all stems.
If it's on a pub, it's probably because if you drink too much, you start to see little green men.
Yeah. No, but the cool thing
with
pubs is that they have especially the really old ones, their name has a history. So it's a bit disturbing that so many are called the King's Head. But
yeah, it's true. Or the Black Dog. There's lots of pubs called the Black Dog.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, this is
Labradors were hunting dogs, so that's generally.
This is something that I do because I do love mythology and ancient history and sagas and stuff like that. So yeah, that's something, and I have a pretty good grasp on everything Norse, but I need to expand my knowledge into Arthurian legend. That's a big gap in my knowledge. That and Greek mythology that I'm also pretty weak on.
I really like Greek mythology. I really do like Greek mythology. But yes, thank you so much for the super chat there.
And thanks for the tip,
buddy. Mexican Iron Man for $10 says, thanks for the shout out for Tom and Sadie. You're a great guy, Nate. I'm listening into today's show with my mom. Hail from across the pond. Well, thanks for joining, buddy.
Hail Mexican Iron Mom.
Yeah, I was literally just about to say that. Yeah, hello to Mexican Iron Mom. Latino.
I've actually talked to Mexican Iron Mom on the phone before.
Paulie, nice to have you in, dude. For $5 says, Nate, it's all about our dogs. Reminder. Mr. H also donated to our dog rescue in SoCal last year. Just donated for Sadie. Much love to the panel and chat. Yeah, loads of people seem. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, buddy. Loads of people seem really surprised, but I mean, I always think dogs are incredibly selfless. Do you know what I mean? They wake up and they're there for you.
Yep.
They don't ask for anything.
I'm not so much surprised by the outpouring. It's just, because you guys are great, right? It's just so quickly, and I'm just overwhelmed with how, it just was like, I was resistant from the start. Mikey and Six and a few others pushed me into it, and I don't mean that in a negative way either. I'm just saying, they're like, do it. You got to do it. You got to do it. And I'm glad I did. And thank you guys so much for helping me out. It's been amazing.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, right? It doesn't hurt to ask at all. The thing is, it doesn't hurt to ask, because all you're doing is going, if you would like to help, here's. I view it the same as like a super chat. It's here's the opportunity to help and support if you want to. If you don't, there's no obligation. You should never feel ashamed of asking or putting people the option there, because a lot of people take great pleasure and satisfaction in helping someone out, and that is their own, pleasure. It's their own enjoyment. It's their own. They get contentedness from that. So there's no. I understand why, but you should look at it from that perspective, is that actually you giving someone the opportunity to help you also makes their day as well. Like, it makes them happy, right? So sort of two angles of looking at it, I guess. And we've got another super chat before we get started with our first topic from Al Humphreys for £5. Long time supporter of the channel. Thank you so much, my dude. Says, Mr. H, regarding Cameron and Terminator, I think he's either out of his mind or he's taking the piss. And he just doesn't care anymore. Well, we'll get to that, buddy. We can't comment too much on that just yet. But yeah, I will posit my argument to the panel and we'll see what they say in terms of whether everyone thinks he's gone a bit mad or
unless
not.
It's to write a new Alien movie, I don't think there's any good excuse.
Nice Terminator movie.
No, that's what I'm saying. Unless you stop writing a Terminator movie to write another Alien movie, I don't think Cameron has an excuse. That's my point. Like,
it's such a dumb argument, honestly. Right, let's get to our first topic. Our first topic is a nice positive one. So, Transformers Rise of the Beast. All the reactions are here, and they're saying, oh, it's going to be the franchise best. Look, maybe. When I read this, I was like, yeah, cool. If you're really looking forward to this, good for you. I hope they're telling the truth, right? Because we get a lot of these reviews and these reactions, and a lot of it's bollocks. So I sincerely hope for those that are looking forward to this movie that they are telling the truth. But one thing which confused me is they're like, it's the franchise best. Which franchise? Is this Bayformers? Is this Bumblebee? Or is this the new reboot? Which franchise? Which franchise are they talking about? Or are they just the umbrella of the Transformers franchise? Because they're different. This is a reboot. So
does this not share the same continuity as the others?
No. It looks like a bridge to me in the trailer because it takes place in 84 or whatever.
Because this has the same designs as they did in Bumblebee.
No, it's connected to Bumblebee, but Bumblebee is no longer connected to the other movies.
Bumblebee, which was a prequel, is now retroactively a reboot. And this is the sequel to that. Is that how we're doing this?
Yeah.
Oh, so confusing.
You now have basically two Transformers timelines in one timeline. Bumblebee is the prequel and the beginning, and in the other with leading up to the Bay movies. Whereas in this timeline, it's Bumblebee plus these ones, but this is not part of the Bayverse. Is that about right? Because this is the first I hear of it.
Honestly. The thing is, in the trailer, it's categorically a reboot because the big villain outside of Scourge is Unicron. And Unicron in the last movie was Planet Earth. Right?
Earth. I have no recollection of that.
Mate, honestly, so fucking stupid. Anyway, it's so dumb.
Anyway,
it's a reboot.
Anymore, other than Bumblebee. Fantastic.
But neither can I. But anyway, it's a reboot. It's a new timeline. Loads of people are loving it.
I'm trying to do the math here, but if you carry the Oreo and you subtract, no, I'm just kidding. Like, no, I think it's the better move if they actually are springing off of Bumblebee. Then that tells me that they didn't not get the message initially, because we gave it a lukewarm box office response. Well, that was because the last 5 movies, frankly, kind of sucked. Outside of the first one, maybe.
Kind of.
Or basically it's the same movie over and over again. Well, however you look at it, at that point, the audience had kind of been like, yeah, we've had enough of those. And then Bumblebee took people by surprise, but most people didn't discover Bumblebee until it hit video.
Yeah.
And at that point, I wonder if they're just, maybe it's still playing very, very well on like Paramount Plus. I don't know if it's up there right now. I mean, they must have noticed it a little bit to where if that's what they're doing, bravo, good move, because trying to take it back to the Bay universe was the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life when I thought that's what they were going to do. So I hope this is the case.
Yeah, honestly, it is. It's a straight up reboot now, basically. But let's have a look. Right, it's about what you'd expect. But so the thing is about this is that what they're saying is good should be the bare minimum, but wasn't the bare minimum for things like The Little Mermaid. And I said this in my video earlier, is that, you know, if you've got a movie that's heavily CGI and no one praises the CGI, or they say, oh, the CGI is a bit choppy, that's a problem. And that's one of the issues with The Little Mermaid, is they're like, oh, it's this, it's that. She is Ariel, but the underwater effects are a bit shit. And you're like, mate, it's a mermaid movie. The underwater effects being a bit shit's a pretty big problem. So they're saying that the action's easy to follow and the CGI is good, which is good. That's what I expect, you know. But at least that's good, because some of the Bayformers movies were ridiculously hard to follow because it was just a big It was like, honestly, it was like Optimus Prime himself just did a big CGI all over the screen. It was just mess everywhere, absolute trash, crap. You couldn't see anything.
I can't tell them apart. Like I can't tell movies 2, 3, and 4 and 5 apart. Like there's 5, right?
Mate, I've got
well, this is the test I love to do to people.
Don't ask me.
The movie is about an object that the bad guys want and the good guys need to find. Which movie am I talking about?
Yeah, all of them.
All of them. Exactly. They're all the same thing.
But like, for instance, if you tell me like which movie was this in, I'm like, I think like the
I know.
Devastator was it.
The only one I remember is that
I have no clue.
I just remember Megan
Dark
Fox.
Side of the Moon or whatever. That's the only reason I remember, is because I think that one has Leonard Nimoy in it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember that. I remember the first one because of Megan Fox leaning over like a motorbike or a car or something.
Oh, that was the
image. Yeah, and her boyfriend
gets
banging Jason eventually, but yeah.
And the first one, to be fair, that wasn't too bad. But beyond that, like it all just blends together.
I know.
For instance, I can't recollect that Unicron was there. Was Earth? I don't remember that at all.
It was in the last one. Look it up. It was in the last one. But anyway, let's just get to some of these reviews. So, and just see what they're saying, right? So the new Transformers movie is pretty solid. Love the Brooklyn setting. Maximals and Scourge add a new spin, and the action pops. So that's good, especially the New York scenes. Mirage steals the show. That's Pete Davidson's character. I fucking hate him. I think he's a cockwomble. But the true star is the absolute best soundtrack, full of early 90s hip-hop hits. This 90s kid had fun. You're fucking 90s kid? Jesus, mate. You want to moisturize? Christ. Right, anyway. Just saw Transformers Rise of the Beast, and it's a total blast. There are lots of references to the Transformers universe that will wow fans. Anthony Ramos is amazing as Noah, and the team is great as always, but the real standout is Pete Davidson as Mirage. Don't miss it, June 7th. Fucking Stephen Weintraub. Happy to say Transformers Rise of the Beast is one of the best installments of the franchise. It's a lot of fun. CGI looks great, and it has well-staged action that's easy to follow. The screening I saw actually had people clapping in the theatre, and the kids laughed a lot, which that surprised me, because I'm like, you went to a press screening with kids? What? What's that about?
Well, if people get like a +1, they might have took their kids or something like that.
I've never been to a press screening when someone's brought their kids ever.
I've heard of it in the past.
I'd be as a member of the press, I'd be really annoyed if that happened, actually.
Well, like I said, sometimes they get a +1 with it. So I'm trying to remember. There was recently a critic who was talking about taking his kid to, I think, the Mario movie or whatever with him.
Maybe. So Mike Reyes says Transformers Rise of the Beast was a blast. The Beast Wars crew finally shows up in what's arguably the best Transformers movie in the run. What run, though? There's a lot of heart, humor, and Brooklyn pride in there. I don't care about Brooklyn. And it all makes for throwback popcorn fun. Transformers Rise of the Beast makes good use of the animated movie storyline, so that's good. And integrates the Maximals and Terracons to a good effect. Stakes are high, and Scourge is a terrifying and powerful villain. Action-packed with a lot of heart, albeit with some cheese on top. All the cheddar. That's what they're all about. Rise of the Beast delivers one of the better and more coherent installments in the franchise. Good. They clearly understood what worked so well for 2018's Bumblebee. As Rise of the Beast has heart and the human characters are more likable. They should be anyway. Mirage will walk away as the fan favorite. Lots of people loving Mirage, but I guess he is the central Autobot in this, right? Like, I'm guessing. Jermaine Lucius has totally dug Rise of the Beast. It's got some issues in the middle, but it starts strong, has fantastic 90s hip-hop, makes great use of the humans, and the third act is a blast. Plus, I damn near jumped out of my seat at the end. Right up there with the first Bay and Bumblebee. All right, then. Pete Davidson steals every scene. The end blew my mind. Music's fire.
Wait, Pete Davidson's in this? I'm out.
Yeah, he plays Mirage.
Oh, okay. He's the voice actor.
He's the main. He's the main Autobot character. Yeah.
We don't have to see him. Well,
you don't have to see him. We just have to listen to him, and it may not
like
even actually sound like him.
Mirage sounds like.
Yeah. So I mean, look, there's not a lot there. You know, follows in the footsteps of Bumblebee. Cool. Game-changing finale that levels up the franchise. That always concerns me because you don't. That's what Marvel had a problem. That's what the last Transformers, the Bayformers, had problems with. Is that they wanted to have they kept up in the ante every single time, and it just became ridiculous. And that's how you ended up with Unicron being Planet Earth. It's fucking nonsense. We got to stop him from opening up. He'll destroy Planet Earth because he is Planet Earth. You penis.
Basically. Marvel's Eternals ripped that off of a Bayformers movie when they had like the Celestial being inside of Earth.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Jesus.
Oh, mate, it's just.
I have no memory of this. It's completely.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, they just blend into one, don't they?
Yeah.
But this one's quite good. You know, plays like a ultimate Saturday morning cartoon. It's a lean, fun movie. What do we think, guys? I mean, I've rabbited on for a bunch of time, but what thoughts?
I mean,
Culture, you've sort of wanted to chime in there. I've seen you
Look,
biting your lip there, mate.
I look, these movies. The fascination for these movies left me a long time ago. So the fact that it's existed this long to me is still surprising. The Bumblebee film was the only thing that I considered tolerable after the very first film. You know, and I just really wasn't a fan of the Bayformer stuff. Largely, it's an animated film. Occasionally, a human being is in the frame. It's not a. I've never found them particularly compelling. For the most part, I mean, this is like Fast and the Furious Robots edition for me. So there's just it's lost on me. Now, if this is good, and if it's as good as the first film or perhaps Bumblebee, then that'd be great. But how do you continually notch up these films like they suggest in this review? I don't know. I mean, what are you going to blow up more stuff? I mean, how much more stuff can you blow up? It's just the stakes are always the same. It's rinse repeat filmmaking, and it loses me every time because I'm bored.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't argue with any of that. Because I mean, you know, when they dropped the first trailer, or the last trailer, whatever it was, I was like, you know, it literally just looks like the Bayformers movies. Everyone was like, no, you're so wrong. And I'm like, all right, whatever. Like, it's just my opinion, mate. Calm down. Like, you can jizz over Transformers all you like. Like, I like Transformers, but Christ, like, they do all look the same at this point. But apparently, according to the more keen eye, all right, for this this franchise, apparently this is the movie.
Well, it's getting a lot of positive pub. You know, a lot of people seem to be excited about it. And again, I mean, you know, to me, it was very nice. The first film had a lot of humans that, you know, you were interested in watching.
Definitely interested in watching Megan Fox.
Yeah, and
definitely interested.
Yeah. It's just
100% interested in watching Megan Fox.
There you go.
Were you interested in watching Megan Fox?
Of course,
I'm not sure
I think
Nate likes Megan Fox.
I think all
mate. Honestly, I saw she popped up on like Google, sends you like random weird like notifications of like news and stuff, and it just posted a picture of Megan Fox to me the other day, and I was like, they're fucking listening to my conversations when I'm doing the this podcast. I was like, fucking hell. Well, that's someone that's aged into her body nicely. Anyway, moving on.
No, just regardless. I mean, but I feel like since that first film, what ground has been broken? I mean, you got Marky Mark in there. You got Yeah, it's just again, and maybe that sounds cynical, mean, overly critical, whatever. If you're there to have a good time and this is your jam, go for it. Because look, the actual Transformers that like existed in toy form, I'm a huge fan of. You know,
Epic. Yeah,
Autobots, Decepticons, pick a side. You know, it was kind of fun. You know, you know, I collected, or actually, my younger siblings collected a bunch of those toys. It's just, it's just one of those things. You know, I don't know. I'm sure other people have opinions, but this film is not made for me.
Yeah, I mean, so I would liken this franchise now to the Fast and Furious films. Started off strong and then just descended into more and it sounds like it almost sounds like a contradiction. Descended more into sort of cartoonish nonsense. But when they started off quite strong, to then I don't know, like I know it sounds dumb because they are cartoons, but yeah, it's because they never really nailed where they were going the direction wise with it all. So I would liken this to the Fast and Furious films, basically that whole franchise.
This might have the most potential as far as like since the Bayformer movies, because I mean, going back to my point, they're all the same thing. There's nothing new or original about them. They do the same one after another, after another, after another. And that's where we got bored of it. And I had to admit, like most people, that Bumblebee was a bit refreshing. It was a bit different. Maybe setting it in a different time period helped. Kind of just disregarding and shaking off some of the other, you know, nonsensical, huge, you know, bloatedness of the last few films was also a bit refreshing. So I mean, if they're spinning off of that, if they're using a lot of inspiration from the animated film, that's a step in the right direction, especially for fans. I mean, I've never been a huge Transformers fan. I think they're all right. But to me, they were just a cartoon that was on between G.I. Joe and something else. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't really get on their train as much as others. But at the end of the day, if, you know, they can manage to throw a story in there that's better than just find MacGuffin that the bad guys want and, you know, destroy bad guys, then I think they should be okay. This might have some potential. It might not be very good. I don't know. But I'm probably looking forward to this more than I have any other Transformer movie since Bumblebee's been out, basically. And I know Andre was a bigger fan of Bumblebee than most people I know, and we haven't heard much from Nick either yet. But yeah, I mean, I don't think the movie's going to flop, and I think it'll all depend on
won't flop.
how much they are inspired by the cartoon and how many callbacks and, you know, the storyline if they follow it. I mean, shit, half these Transformers might be dead by the end of the movie.
Yeah. Nick, come on then, bud. What you got to say for yourself?
As long as they stay away from Transformers Earthspark and the pronouns crap, I'm good with checking this film out. Like Tom was saying, the Bumblebee movie for me when I saw it was kind of like a breath of fresh air. After the second Transformers movie, when the third one came out, I was already starting to lose interest. I didn't even have any interest in even seeing Bumblebee when it came out. It was literally just word of mouth from people that made me go watch it after it was out on streaming, and I liked it. I'm kind of in the same boat though going into this. You know, I'm not going to go spend my money and my time going to the theater to see it. But if word of mouth's good when it's out on a streaming service, I'll more than likely probably check it out.
Oh, okay. All right. Andre.
As Tom just said, I'm an unabashed fan of Bumblebee. I went into Bumblebee with the absolute lowest set of expectations you can imagine. I was like thinking, this is going to be so dumb. I don't like Bumblebee, never liked Bumblebee, never appealed to me. Here's a prequel. I see why you want that, but why center it on Bumblebee of all characters? And I was blown away by how good it was. It is. I like the first movie, the first Bay movie, and this one is even better. And then when I heard that the sequel was going to take things back to Bayhem again, I was like, well, I'm out then. And Beast Wars, I never saw Beast Wars. I just absolutely hated the primitive 3D animation. I was getting too old by then, so I never saw it. I have no idea what it is or about or anything. I saw the trailers for this, and I was like, yeah, fine, whatever. Big stupid gorilla monkey, I'm not interested. And then actually when you said, oh, so now retroactively Bumblebee is a reboot, and
Yep.
this is a sequel to that, and the Bayverse never happened. Okay, I'm in. I'm excited now. I hope, and especially with these reviews, and to me,
Yeah.
they sounded like genuinely positive. This sounds to me to be as good as you possibly can expect. I hope this is good now. I look forward to seeing this, and I will be seeing it with more interest now than I had before, because up until you alerted me to that, I had no interest whatsoever. I am now
Yeah.
looking forward to this. Here's to
Okay.
hoping it'll be a fun
Interesting.
time.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is the thing, guys. Like, whatever movie I rag on, I never want you guys to go to the film and have a really crap time. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the worst thing you could want for someone, just to waste their time. I think it's awful. I hope everyone that wants to go see this has a really good time with it. It's not for me. I'm going to go watch it, though. And I hope I enjoy it. Let's put it that way. Because I enjoyed some of the other Transformers movies, but we'll see. We will see. So we do have some super chats to get to. A few just dropped in. So Israel R for $5 says Sword of the Valiant with Sean Connery is another great movie from that era. It's based on the Green Knight story. I've never heard of that movie.
Yeah, actually, it's a movie that I have procured because I actually was aware of that. So it's a movie that I procured, and I intend to see it alongside the Green Knight in a double billing. And then, of course, then I've just been busy and I've never gotten time for it, because that's kind of like that's the price that we all pay that do this on YouTube.
It is, yeah.
We don't get to watch things as fans.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
true.
and to take the time for that. That's kind of like the irony that the very thing that made us do this is the very thing we, in a sense, have to give up in order to keep doing it.
Yeah, true. That is true, actually. Tom working for $2 says a Unicron as Earth was a stupid move. Yep. Olaf Van S, great moderator in the chat. Thank you so much. For €2 says Hasbro Pulse has all Gen 1 episodes on YouTube. Do they? I've checked that out. Did not know that. Tom working for $2 says the Bumblebee reset is the right direction. It absolutely is the right direction. Like 100% it is the right direction.
I just have to say, do they have all episodes?
Apparently,
do they even have the problematic? Yeah. Because there's one episode which is problematic. I forget the name of the episode, but it's an episode where they go to Libya at the time, and Libya at the time is a terrorist nation that is now called Carbumbia, where you have like local dictators and oil everything, and even an agent Cobra commander, because this is like,
oh my god,
after the movie. I'd be curious if they have that episode, because that's like the one episode that's problematic and has been for some time.
I'm sure Olaf will say. One more super chat here.
Yeah, they do have that one on there, Andre.
Awesome.
It's season 2, episode 8.
I'm amazed how quickly you were able to spot that one.
That's amazing.
You're also familiar with it.
So we'll get this super chat and then we'll move on to our fun topic of James Cameron. So Israel R for $5 says, do you think a Thundercats movie or a new He-Man could be possible if the new Transformers is successful? He-Man, no. They're busy doing that stuff anyway. Thundercats was announced, wasn't it? If I remember rightly.
Thundercats been talking about it for a while.
With the guy who did Godzilla vs. Kong.
Yeah. But I haven't heard any movement on that.
Jordan Voight. Yeah, is that right?
But same thing with He-Man. That's been in development hell now for a while.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
They keep recasting the part, but they never get anywhere on it.
No, not at all. That ain't gonna happen. Not at all. Right, guys, let's have a look at this. Oh, next topic. Terminator. James Cameron's writing a new movie. Woo! But he's paused.
Yay.
Right. Okay, so he announced this at the weirdest place ever. So a bit of background. James Cameron announced at where was it? Where was it? It was like the weirdest place. Dell Tech World event, right? So he announced at the Dell Tech World event that he started writing a Terminator movie, which, sure, fine. Loads of people will be whooping and hollering. They love that news. Great, love it. And then he stopped about 3 months ago. Now, he stopped because, ladies and gents, I think it's personally the really, really dumb reason. He stopped because he wanted to see how AI progressed. Now, wait. Let me plead my case on why I think that's absolutely just shitty and retarded and super dumb and absolute nonsense. Because it's science fiction, you don't wait to see how AI progresses to write science fact. If they waited to write Back to the Future until we actually hit that timeline, we wouldn't get that iconic imagery of what everyone in the initial time period when they were writing Back to the Future thought that the future would be. Right? And it's the same thing with here. Back at a certain point, people thought AI would do this certain thing and it would create this, and then you get iconic imagery. If you're sat there waiting for history to transpire, then it's no longer science fiction, it's science fact. It's also just creative bankruptcy. I think it's incredibly stupid. Why would you wait to see how AI progresses? Are you so unimaginative that you can't go, well, I think AI is going to progress in this way? It doesn't matter if you're wrong, mate. It's science fiction. Anyway, there you go. I think that's really dumb, personally. Because if we all did that for any movie, we wouldn't have any movies. You wouldn't have Back to the Future.
Think
Well,
about 2001: A Space Odyssey. If Kubrick decided, I'm just going to wait till the year 2001, see
we're
what
going to
it
wait
looks
until 2001 happens. Like, it's so dumb. So basically, this is the tweet. So James Cameron told the Dell Tech World crowd that he started writing a new Terminator movie 3 months ago, but wants to see how AI shakes out before he goes any further. He's literally waiting for ideas from the real world.
Isn't he supposed to be working on Avatar 5?
Oh, mate, I don't know. Who the fuck knows? But what do you think? Because I think that's super dumb, personally.
Well, yeah, because in what story ever has AI ever became our friend or done anything that wasn't other than kill us or turn us into some sort of batteries?
Is he going to wait till
one
GPT starts like giving out recipes that are going to kill everyone? Is that what he's waiting for? I need a recipe for the best burger in the world. ChatGPT. I could kill another human. Like, no.
What are you going to say, Andre?
This is stupid. Sorry.
That movie by Christopher Nolan, the space one, Interstellar.
Yeah,
that's the only one I can think of where the AI actually was your friend.
And I hated that movie.
Yeah, I hated it too, but that's the only one I can think of.
The end is so dumb.
I'm not saying it's a good movie. I'm just saying that's...
It was all right till the end, and then I'm just like, fuck this movie.
Great score.
Okay. But anyway, let's get back on track. James Cameron, Terminator, not writing it because he literally wants to see how history plays out. What do you think?
I don't need another one anyway.
That's also true, but it's dumb. I mean, you gave the best description as to why it's dumb. You wouldn't make any movie ever if you were just waiting on things to happen. I mean, you're going to do history pieces? Then what are they, documentaries at that point? I'm like, no. I mean, a movie is supposed to like kind of reach into the future and give you a speculative view with some creativity. I mean, that's how visionaries work. Cameron is no longer a visionary, is what he's telling you. That's what he's telling you. I can't see the future anymore, but I can make blue aliens. Come on.
I love it. Love it. Nick?
Yeah, the thing is, he did an interview several years ago. I mean, it might have been over a decade ago. I can't remember how long ago it was, but he was talking about doing the next good Terminator film and what would be the next big Terminator film that would do good. And he was talking about doing the prequel, the war movie, with the
thing that everyone wants and have wanted ever since.
Yeah, that everybody has wanted, and basically making those first Terminator films, Terminator 1 and 2, and then this prequel, basically its own trilogy. but shooting it in that same sort of lighting with that sort of blue haze tint to it with the blue lasers and all that sort of stuff, and having a story around that. So I don't know why he would be waiting on AI. He already knows what fans want from the series,
Yeah.
and he's already spoke about what the next good Terminator movie would actually be, and it's not sitting around waiting to see what AI is going to be.
Wait a minute. We're looking at this the wrong way. He's waiting for AI to be good to actually write a good movie.
Yeah, probably.
Ah, there you go.
Because
I like that.
Because the thing is, AI now is not going to be AI 10, 15, 20 years from now, or even when after he's dead and gone. I mean, it's going to be constantly changing. So stopping on writing on the next movie to see what happens with AI is
lazy,
definitely lazy and dumb.
No, I mean, of course, I'm kidding, but
like
what else are you waiting for AI to do?
I may so stupid. So, and didn't he come out recently and say Terminator was done as well? Anyway,
yeah, he did. But if anything, like with the hype of around AI right now is the time to capitalize on it. Not only that, if you're James Cameron coming back to the, you know what, and better yet, you go, this is actually Terminator 3, what I'm doing right now, and call it like T3 with like one, the Roman numeral 3 or something like that, just to differentiate it from the other one. I don't give a shit. But I don't think he's got a decent movie left in him anyway. I mean, I know a lot of people liked Avatar, but I did not. I have not liked a movie of his since, like True Lies. I don't think he's the same filmmaker he used to be. I mean, Avatar is just all spectacle and no real substance to it.
Yeah. Dumb.
But
dumb.
It's a dumb excuse.
Oh, massive. Oh, it's hugely. Andre, we haven't heard from you, man.
Yeah, no. The real dumb thing is him writing another Terminator in the first place, because the problem is that it's a 2-movie story, and the story has already been told. And I would submit that the only semi-worthwhile expansion to the Terminator franchise to be released since was the Sarah Connor TV series. That one wasn't half bad.
So I would argue that actually there's definitely the story is a trilogy. I've always said this and I stand by it, is that if you're going to do it, you do it as a cyclical trilogy. So we open with Terminator. What happened? Well, Skynet lost. And in a last-ditch effort, they sent the T-800 back to kill John Connor. But actually, the humans won the war. So what you do is you set it up to see that. You see John Connor in the last few days winning the war. And so we know full well that's the last movie, and it's this cyclical motion. So that's
you almost have to, because the movie is basically a bootstrap paradox.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that before, but basically the Terminator coming back in time with Reese started the whole thing to begin with, basically, and without them going back in time, does it actually happen? But you can't send them back in time, so it's a bootstrap paradox where it's just a circle. Exactly.
And then you have the larger question: is now the whole universe basically stuck in a loop, like in that Star Trek episode, or in what's the movie, the one with the bunny?
There's your interesting movie right there. Is you start the movie out where basically, like you just said, Nate, everything goes in that cyclical loop, and somewhere near the midpoint of the movie, the characters figure out they got to get themselves out of that time loop somehow, and that's how you finish the film out. And it ends the war in a different way than they initially planned, because you have to destroy that other Terminator from going back, but it also means sacrificing John Connor at the end or something like that, because he'll never be born. You have to break the cycle, basically.
Yeah. So I argue there's definitely a trilogy in there for sure. But dumb.
But that's kind of like the only way to do it. It's like that and and the future war, but it has to be the one that takes place immediately before the movie, not one that tries to add anything new or change something up, like Terminator Salvation, because that is what ended that movie. So if you were to continue, then that's the way to do it. However, we now have a trilogy of failed Terminator trilogy starters. Think about it. Terminator Salvation was meant to kickstart a trilogy. Terminator Sega Genesis was meant to kickstart a trilogy. And finally, Terminator Woke Fate was also meant to kickstart a trilogy. So a trilogy of failed trilogy starters that each and every single one are reboots of each other.
Dark
How
Fate.
fantastic is that?
Actually,
Dark Fate lost so much money. It had a budget of $200 million, took 261 worldwide. Oh my God.
well, really, if you think about it, at the end of the day, Terminator 3 does have the best ending of all the films and ends the trilogy just right, because it just sets it up that no matter what they do, Judgment Day is going to happen, right?
Yeah.
These guys are going to have to do whatever they have to do no matter what. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I guess it is kind of the perfect trilogy with ending with Terminator 3. As bad of a movie as it is, I mean, it's not bad, but it's not as bad as what comes after it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I like the first part of Terminator Salvation, and then it just goes crazy when Tim Burton's X shows up. But, you know, the idea was there's like, yeah, if you're going to do this, just move it into the future war. Then it doesn't matter anymore, right? It doesn't matter.
That's what everyone wants to see anyway. Yeah. Everyone wants to see the future war.
And you can do that as like an animated series. You don't even need to do that as like a full-on movie. You could just have, Terminator, The Future Wars, an animated Netflix series.
Yeah. Let's shuffle on to some super chats and memberships as well. So we've got Glade Riven for $5 says, warning, leaks, rumors suggest that Transformers Rise of the Beast does to the Bayverse what we want to happen to the Disney Star Wars. It's connected, but I don't understand how it can be connected though, because it's connected to Bumblebee. Or maybe that is how.
But it does take place in 94, and that's where I thought, well, maybe it's like a bridge between the two. But
well, it can't be, because if it physically can't, it's like a soft reboot then, because Unicron was in the last movie as Earth, so, and he's the big villain in this. Whatever. Who the fuck knows? Yeah. Honestly, who knows until we see it, I guess. But yeah, Tom working for $2 says, "Is Cameron the best hands on anything Terminator?" No, absolutely not. I think we can all safely say that.
Cameron is in that overrated category because everything even that he's had that's been a success has technically been built off of the work of somebody else. Terminator, even though it's in a quote-unquote original franchise, he ended up having to pay Harlan Ellison and a few other people, considering his story was so much like theirs. And then turn around, Terminator 2 is the same movie as the first movie. I love it. It's arguably a better sequel than the first film in a lot of ways, but it's literally beat for beat, almost line for line, the same movie. Aliens is just a sequel to Alien. True Lies is a remake. The Abyss is probably his only original film, and I'm real willing to bet that you could probably dig through a lot of sci-fi novels and find a lot of similar stories. And Avatar, let's not even get started on Avatar. Everybody knows that that's basically, Dances with Fern Gully in space. I love James Cameron's work at the end of the day, but I'm to the point where I don't care if he makes another movie again, because his best work is behind him at this point.
I agree. I 100% agree. So him downstairs has become a member and upgraded his membership. I think you are now, from what I can tell from Olaf sending me screenshots, you're at supporter level 1. So thank you so much for being a member. I think. Thank you. Goes a long way. Teague for $5 says, "Love the HCast." Thank you. I'm happy that this has been as well received as I'd hoped. This was an experiment, believe it or not, this podcast. So I'm genuinely glad that it's managed to go as long as it is. So that's a sincere thank you, genuinely a thank you. So I'm glad you guys like it. Did you see the new Spider-Man gameplay? Did the graphics look good to you? Did the lizard look similar to the Amazing Spider-Man lizard to you? I have not seen this. I've heard. I
saw the black suit with the symbiont powers, and that's all I've seen. It looks all right.
Oh, okay. See, because I don't play consoles, so I'm not that up on games that much, really. I'm not massively up on them. Anyone else seen this at all? Nothing else to add?
Nothing to add, sorry.
Well, yeah, you don't bloody play any games. Don't worry about it, Andre.
Not unless it's on the Sega Mega Drive.
Yeah, exactly.
On the Spider-Man for the Mega Drive, That I
Okay.
can discuss in detail, but yeah.
All right. Well, I think the graphics are a little bit upgraded since then, mate.
I don't know. Apparently, there was like some scene in water that was all crap or something. I would say the water
don't-
scenes in Spider-Man on the
idea.
Mega Drive were fantastic for the time.
No idea.
I've never enjoyed the visual presentation of that, from the third person perspective, but that's just me.
Nick, are you back or not?
He's front.
I'm just making it. Well, he's not back then, is he? Be right back. Nearly 10 minutes ago. Cheers, mate. Calling you out. He's busy doing a chill stream somewhere. That's what it is. He's listening apparently. Hope you fucking hear this, Nick. Right. Anyway. Oh dear. Anyway, thank you so much, everyone, for watching. We've got like 400 people here. Hit that like button. Thank you so much. Please do check out everyone's channels linked in the description box. So if you enjoy their input here, this is their thoughts. They give it to you unabashed on their channels. So check out their channels and hit subscribe. Would go a long way for them as well. Well, because Nick ain't here, let's go on to our next topic, which wasn't going to be our next topic. But Elizabeth Olsen stopped reading Doctor Strange 2 drafts due to constant changes. Because they had like 32 rewrites. 32 rewrites.
Well, why should she be
Guys.
bothered anyway? The writers didn't watch the show that it was a sequel to, so.
Honestly. So, asked how much of what we saw in theaters resembled the initial script, she responded, "It resembled more than I thought it was going to." I mean, there were definitely moments where there's a point in making the movie where I just stopped reading drafts. Love it. I was like, this is going to change again, Olsen admitted. Just keep me posted with the information I need, and you guys fill in the blanks that you need, but I'll just keep my lane. That one was a wild ride. I love that. What a great response. And apparently, Daniel Craig was going to play a variant of Thor's brother, Boulder the Brave. So she confirmed that as well. What do we think about? I mean, this to me just goes to show what we've said for a long time, that the MCU is just a bit of a shit show. I just thought it was funny. There's literally so many drafts that she's like, "Oh, you know what? I'm out."
Yeah,
I can't be bothered.
Yeah. When you're done with this, send it to me. You're not done. Leave me alone. God.
And to be fair, it's not like she really has to read it anyway. As long as she can show up on set and memorize her lines on the day that they're filming, that's really all she has to do.
Oh, sure.
I mean, they can send her all the scripts that she wants, but she's under contract. It's not like she can choose to pass. So I don't blame her for stopping reading. She's going to be like, yeah, fine, whatever. Like, I only read it for like my own benefit. Just let me know my lines the day before we shoot and we're good. And honestly, that's all that's needed, because yeah, Marvel has been a complete and total shit show. In a sense, they always were, but they still had the talent to actually pull out good movies out of the rabbit hat at one point in time. Now that magic ingredient is gone.
Yeah,
the only thing they can pull like out of the hat right now, in addition to the rabbit, is rabbit droppings.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's quite true.
Yeah. Can't deny that. Can't deny that asshole. You're completely right. I mean, it's. I guess they had the talent that could elevate shittier scripts, basically, and at this point now they don't have that talent anymore. So all you've got is like shitty scripts upon shitty scripts, and then shitty actors doing their best to elevate, and also with unlikable characters doing their best to sort of elevate those terrible scripts, I guess.
I think you feel bad. I think if you think about it, you kind of start to feel bad for some of these actors who maybe could have taken better gigs that would have made better use of their talent. I mean, everybody gets paid. Don't misunderstand me. I'm just saying, if you want to be in a good movie, I mean, that's just the paycheck or no, you still want to be in a good film. I mean,
yeah, true. There's that famous. There's a quote from someone that was like, no one sets out to make a shit film or something like that, which is true. But that makes it all the more hilarious when they make them so bad for so often, so frequently as well. Like, no, you're right. Like, no one sets out to make a bad film because they're trying to make good films that sell box office tickets. But yeah, you're making consistently bad films. Someone ain't getting the memo.
Somebody got the memo with Barbie movie though. It looks like.
Um,
You guys seen
Yeah,
the
I can't
trailer
talk
for
about it.
that?
I haven't seen the trailer. No, I've not seen
Oh
the
my
trailer.
gosh,
so-
I want a Barbie movie now for TMNT and He-Man and all my favorite things. This ain't fair.
I
And they're
think,
clearly listening to their audience on top of it all. I'm just
Uh,
like, you know what?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Right. So to link that back to this,
Sorry.
I mean, that's people that are actually listening to their audience, isn't it? Right. It's
Yeah,
the
because
same
they
with
didn't. They said they weren't going to have the Barbie girl song in it or whatever, and now they've got a version of it in the new trailer. So they're evidently listening to the girls when they said that. So, and the ladies on
It's-
Toxic Femme were just bubbling over this movie originally. So,
yeah.
Well, it's the same as it's the same as like the Sonic movie, for instance. You know, they release that trailer, people are like, "Whoa, fuck me, this looks terrible." So they go back to the drawing board, change it, and then everyone's quids in. Like, it's people that are actually listening to their audience. They're like, "Yeah, we'll change this. Yeah, we'll make this better. Yeah, no worries." You know, you make money, make bank, and then people are like, "Yeah, cool, happy with that." But other people, again, like Barbie, for instance, you know, listen to their audience. This Marvel, nah, they just bury their head in the sand. They're like, "Nah, we're fine. Don't worry about it. We'll just insult our audience. Don't you worry about it.
Yeah, we're fine, bro. We're fine.
You're just all ists and phobes. All right then, cool. Thanks."
Spider-Man. I was listening.
Why?
Where?
The trailer looked great. I am definitely looking forward to playing that game. So the reason it took me so long is I was literally outside in the front and backyard trying to find my dog because she can fit between the little black wrought iron gate
boy.
pieces in the back. So she'll get out and like I got woods back behind me, so I couldn't find her. And so I was literally like walking up and down the street in the front, looking in the back. She was literally in the house under the blanket on the couch the whole time.
That's funny.
What a legend.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Elizabeth Olsen just not bothering to read drafts of the script at a certain point for Doctor Strange?
I think most of those actors probably saw the writing on the wall probably even before we did. That after
Yeah,
Endgame, Marvel was going to start its spiral downwards.
Yeah.
So I'm sure she knew as well as probably most everybody else that's working on those Marvel movies that they're going to be shit. I literally tried watching Doctor Strange 2 like 3 times and I fell asleep every single time. I still have not seen that movie from start to finish all the way through.
It's honestly, it's not worth your time. It's not very good.
no, and it explains now why they'd never had a clear vision for the film and why it's because, like, you watch the movie and it's pretty obvious. Wanda should be the villain, but the movie didn't understand what it was trying to do. It's
No.
like, yeah, she is, but she isn't. It's like, no, she's a straight up villain now. Everything she has done, even though she lost vision, and that's the catalyst for this. This is
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Exactly. That's my point. Is like this shows you that the people behind Marvel have fundamentally misunderstood now or don't understand anymore what being a hero and what being a villain is all about.
Yeah.
Wanda not being able to get over losing vision and not being able to let go of this idea that she has children in some alternate universe that she can't get her hands on makes her a villain. That is what makes somebody a villain, is that they cannot get past and over these things. Now, if she was to be able to get past that and beyond that and become a better person beyond that, then she'd be a hero again. That's what the movie should be about. But no, instead it's just meandering and nonsense.
Yeah. You can be a sympathetic villain, right? But you're still a villain.
Still a villain at the end of the day if you can't get over what it is that, you want revenge or you want made whole or whatever it is, Because that's the thing. Spider-Man lost his Uncle Ben. He'll never get him back. Superman lost his whole planet and family. He'll never get him back, but he doesn't kill people over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Now we've got you back, Nick. Let's move on to our next topic, which is Disney Star Wars Hotel nearly received a Mandalorian retheme, but Bob Iger came in and cancelled it all. It was actually Bob Iger that canned this. So they were brainstorming how to, make this a success. And he's the one that came in and shit canned it all. like absolutely all of it. So basically, it's closing. The Wrap reports that the project likely cost Disney upwards of $1 billion. And there were even tentative plans to open additional Star Cruises in Anaheim, Paris, and Tokyo. Ridiculous, but okay. Cast members working in the hotel didn't learn of the sudden closure until the news broke in the media. And insiders believe former Disney CEO Bob Chapek, who remains an unpopular figure among Disney fans, no, he doesn't, is largely to blame for its failings. That's what they say.
BS.
Yeah. It says his decision to streamline many of Galaxy's Edge features as a cost-cutting measure resulted in them being incorporated into this hotel, hence why they didn't work particularly well in their new home. Chapek was also keen to bring more wealthy guests to the Disney parks after the pandemic, explaining the high admission fee and increases in everything from regular ticket prices to Genie Plus replacing FastPass. Now, they said this, right? A trade anyway. An insider tells the Wrap. Once you went through the 1%ers who could afford it and the fanatical Star Wars fans who would sell their mother to do it, you were done. No one connected to this came off well. So before returning, Disney CEO Bob Iger made the decision to close the hotel's doors. A number of ideas were thrown around. Among them were tours of the facilities that would have given access to the bar, dinner show, and gift shop for the additional charge. And they also considered retheming it to The Mandalorian, but Iger said no. Now it's obviously unclear what will happen. So Disney's apparently lost about $300 million. I would say more. But for starters, why would your go-to just be, I just close it? Surely it would be, well, let's just retool it. Wouldn't you just retool it? What the fuck? Thoughts,
Yeah,
Nick? Straight to you, man. Honestly, what shit show? Why wouldn't you retheme it Mandalorian, the most popular property?
Well, I have a theory behind that. Again, it's just a theory. I think Bob Iger. I think Jon Favreau is ultimately going to be out. I think season 4 of The Mandalorian is probably going to be the last season of The Mandalorian. And I think that's why Bob Iger is saying no to the retheme of Mandalorian, because they're going to be moving beyond that show, moving forward. And again, that's just all theory and speculation on my part. I have no evidence to back that up at all. But they should definitely retool it. But they should retool it to not look like Star Trek Discovery, have it actually look like Star Wars, and make it all about the core of Star Wars, which is the original trilogy. I mean, you put that is the inside of a Death Star, or you have half of it like the inside of the Death Star and half of it like inside, like a Mon Calamari cruiser or some rebel ships or something like that, and you retool that thing around the OT. I would even consider trying to go to it, but not at the price that they are making people pay. That's the other key to this. It is way overpriced. No way in hell am I spending, $4 to $6 grand for me and some friends or whatever to go stay at this thing. Ain't happening ever. Even if I had the money to just blow on it, I'm not spending that kind of money on just a 2-day thing at
That's just
Disney.
insane.
It's absolutely ridiculous. They got to bring costs way down to where all of us middle class peons can basically afford to go check this thing out. If they would do those two things, centered around the OT and cut costs way down, and on top of that, change it up. Because the thing is, once you go through this thing, it's a one and done thing. You've already experienced it. If you go again, it's going to be the exact same thing. So change up the storylines, change up the things from day to day. There might be like 12 to 15 different story events that are going on, and you can literally book. So like if you've done 3 of them, and you're like, oh, I want to go to it again. I haven't experienced this story on in the hotel and done these activities there. Then you could literally book for a weekend that's doing something that you haven't already done before. It's literally, I mean, they run theme parks. I mean, this should be just simple stuff that they should be able to come up with and be like, okay,
Yeah.
this is easy money right here. I don't know why it's so difficult for them.
I do.
God, that's
Because
They're greedy. They're
Yeah.
greedy.
yeah.
And Nick, this started off as a greed project from the very beginning. It had zero to do with Chapek. I'm about to drop some bombs here.
Oh yeah, for sure.
When this was when Star Wars, when Galaxy's Edge was announced as an expansion, not just in Florida but also in California, and they had to move heaven and earth in California to make this happen, including the Pope House, by the way, which was a historically located house on Disneyland property. But we'll set that all aside. They announced that there was going to have all of this immersiveness. You would be able to interact with robots and characters and all kinds of things, right? And then when they got down the road on it, they started pulling ideas out of there, including an attraction that was supposed to be opening with both of these park expansions. And I talked a little bit about that today in my 6-minute daily, which went for an hour and a half today. So, because I'm real good at telling time, but they buried all that immersion instead into this hotel. They put it, like people have been referring to it, they put it behind a paywall, and they did that out of greed. And when they talk about the fact that they're not, that this was Chapek's fault, no. All of these greed surveys were happening all the way back in 2013 when they were in the midst of the NGE project. They were seeing how they could entice people of higher income levels and target those folks via their surveys. When you get a customer survey from Disney, one of the demographic questions that's involved is your earnings. They want to know how much money you make. And they want to know how many times a year do you visit Disney properties. And they even, by the way, they even prior to getting ESPN involved in gambling, they were even looking at that in front of it for quite some period of time, 4 or 5 years, because they saw what was happening in online gambling, and they wanted to make sure that they could get away with running shows on ESPN that would be in support of that. So Disney is a greedy, nefarious company. And this is nothing new. This is nothing new. So when Disney tells you they're going to do something, just put your hand over your wallet.
My only thing is, if they were truly greedy, all the things I explained would be raking in the dough for them.
Oh,
well, let's put it this way: they're greedy, but they're also stupid.
Well, but
that's exactly what I was chuckling at, because we're making some assumptions here. We're making some assumptions that they see the world like we do, and that they want to actually earn money. I have no idea how the hell this thing could get approved at that kind of price tag. Because if you're gonna charge like $6,000 for doing some cosplay and stuff like that, you better get your own Ray with it for the price, or like Slave Leia.
I'd want a Ray-themed prostitute
spend
that
the
night,
night,
honestly,
because that's the only thing that's going to justify that kind of expense, right?
Give me a fucking Ray-themed prostitute for the night.
That's exactly what I mean. For that kind of price, that is what you need to be getting. And if you don't get that included, then it's a fucking waste of money. And no one, seriously, I mean it. That is what they needed to do. They need to do like the
adult thing, Star Wars.
That it would be worth it.
Look, let me say this. First of all, the price that was supposedly paid for this adventure also included all the R&D that came with it. They offset some other stuff R&D wise, right? The second thing is the reason that they don't make it more broadly appealing, and that they set it at a higher echelon of cost, and they didn't think that was going to be a barrier, was because they are actively trying to reduce park crowding. I'm not kidding. They will tell you, which is completely opposite of what you would think. But what they're doing is they're limiting ride availability by not scheduling staffing for full capacity attractions. They're limiting the number of restaurants and things that are open to, again, their goal is to reduce crowds but pull more money out of your wallet. I mean, that, and look, the whole point of the NGE program in the first place was to figure out how to extract the maximum dollars from your wallet. And that was actually said in an earnings call going way back to, I want to say 2013 or 2014. And that statement was made by Tom Staggs who they promptly got rid of a few years later when, again, that NGE project went from being under $1 billion to $2 billion.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's a brilliant plan. Like, okay, you already have all the peons are huge fans, and you decide we want less peons and more wealthy, good people. So that's our plan. We're going to do something that will appeal only to the hyper rich. But the problem is that the hyper rich, they have more fun ways of spending $6,000 than LARPing for a night. And you see, we're getting back to that. That those that can afford to spend $6,000 on a night for that kind of hotel, for that $6,000, they can get a hell of a lot more worth out of that money elsewhere.
Oh, what an absolute shit show! What
Yeah.
an absolute shit show!
And I honestly, I don't blame like Iger for not like respinning. It's like, okay, oh fine. So now it's no longer the sequel trilogy experience. Now it's the Mando experience. Is it still 6,000 a night? Because that thing, it costs like what, $1 billion or something like that. They're
$1
never,
billion, yeah.
With all the
Yeah,
R&D
dollars.
included, yes, that's true.
they're never ever gonna recoup. It would be far better just to like you cut a grab on it, take the tax write-off right away. It's gonna be a
Yeah.
shit earnings call next time anyway. It's just like do what has to be done. And
Nick, I love
get it over with.
your avatar there, mate.
Yeah, it looks good.
You inspired it. That's the Ray prostitute you get at the Star Cruiser Hotel moving forward.
I get that? Now,
Yeah.
That's an entirely other conversation then. Have to see if I can get a kitchen pass from the boss for that. But yeah.
But for $6,000 a night, yeah, I mean you better get something like that along, because again, people that can spend that kind of money, they're not gonna waste it on a night of LARPing with other Star Wars geeks. Because just remember, you're doing this experience on your own. You can get far better experience than that. Doing similar stuff for a fraction of that cost. It's insane. Like, who the hell thought this through?
Well, Disney and their infinite wisdom. Andre, you need to dip out now, don't you, mate?
Yes, I need to drop out. I'm in disbelief at how that kind of thing can ever be greenlit in its current form.
All right then, buddy. Well, thanks for joining me.
I think that
joining everyone else as well. Appreciate it.
Star Wars could do better, or Disney could do better with their special district and everything.
Yep, not wrong.
If they can do a nuclear power plant in Video Creek, they could do a Star Wars themed brothel, and that's how they would get that 6,000 worth.
Disney red light district. I'm with you, Andre.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go. The Disney red light district.
I'd do it for a laugh. Definitely.
That would get them out of financial trouble, probably.
Very quickly, actually.
Yeah. You see, you have to submit that idea to Iger.
All right, Andre. Well, thank you so much for joining us
now, because now he's going to control over it.
That's true.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No, you're more than welcome. More than welcome.
Good to see you, Andre.
We'll catch you next Thursday on the podcast.
That's the plan.
Peace out, buddy.
Oh, and congratulations, Andre, on your 2 wonderful Bud Light explanation videos. They're still the best.
Oh, thank you. I have to do a follow-up now. So
yes, you do.
It's only getting worse for them.
Oh man!
I thought we'd have time for Andre to cover that as well.
Yeah.
Alas.
Good times. All right. Take care, everyone.
All right. Peace out, mate. Bye. So I think we got some super chats. So we got one anyway. Tom Working for $2 says Harlan Ellison, demon with the glass hand. Yes. Now, what do we have? So we've got, speaking of Bud Light are doubling down. So breaking news, Bud Light will sponsor pride parades across the country despite the ongoing boycott. Bud Light, Anheuser-Busch will sponsor the St. Louis Pride Parade, Cincinnati Pride Parade, Chicago Pride Parade, the organization behind the Columbus Pride Parade. So here we have it.
McDonald's is doing it too.
Yeah, McDonald's is doing it. don't think there's much else really there that's interesting, but yeah, Bayer, that's a pharmaceutical company.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, there you go. I mean, Bud Light doubling down. Who'd have thought it? Who would have thought it? I mean, look, they've got nothing else to lose, have they? At this point, they've literally got nothing else to lose. At this point, they can't lose anymore. They've lost everything. So at least at this point, they're trying to recoup some money from the ESG stuff, I guess.
Yeah,
That's
because
probably
they
it,
lost.
really.
Yeah, because they lost a lot of them when they pulled back and disavowed the whole Dylan Mulvaney thing.
Yeah.
So then you had all the alphabet community bars and stuff, then also piling on top and canceling Bud Light for that.
Yeah.
You know, and so they're like, well, we probably lost most of the normal people in the country, so let's try to get those people back at least, you know. But at the end of the day, it's that company's going to crash and burn. I don't see
Massively.
it coming back, not anytime soon for sure. I mean, they would have to completely rebrand, get a new CEO in there. I mean, they would have to change so much stuff. The little bullshit apology thing that they put out there was crap. You know, I mean, there's so much stuff they're gonna have to do to turn things around.
Mm.
Now
Yeah,
Target's
I mean,
in the same boat.
I can't see them doing any of this. I can't see them doing enough to turn it around.
No.
It'll be really interesting to see whether the boycott continues, but I think it will because it's become like just an ingrained everyday movement now. No, we won't have that. We'll have this. You know, it's one of those things where when people are instantly switched off to something and it becomes second nature to them, they don't tend to switch back on. There needs to be that spark to switch people back onto something. And I can't see them lighting that match to get people to do it. I just can't. And this isn't going to help. I mean, fucking hell, when this comes out, people start seeing this, which it already is now. People are just going to go, ha ha ha. No. Bye-bye. See you later. We'll keep that boycott going.
Yep.
Culture, you got some stuff to say on this?
Sure. I mean, it's pretty easy for me to say what I think. They've lost 25 to 30% of their business, most of it permanently. And once you break a habit, just like with cinema going, it's harder to get people to come back. Beer is a habit. Loyalty is fleeting. If you abuse your customers for too long, you can take advantage of that loyalty. You suffer the consequences. It happens with everything, including sports teams. So, yeah, I feel like...
yeah, the Dodgers are in hot water right now.
Yeah,
too.
they are. They're being anti-Catholic is not a good move on their part, considering the majority of their in-person fans are Latino. So that was not a great move. But regardless, I am not surprised. I'm not surprised that they went back to doubling down. They don't really have a choice. They have to make their paymasters happy. And make no mistake, they have to bend the knee to the woke. They just have to. Yep, they need that ESG interim financing.
Yeah. I mean, that's all that they're not getting any income from elsewhere. So that's literally all that they've got now. They can't do anything else, can they? Tom, you've been awfully quiet for a little while there, mate.
Oh, I just been dealing with some stuff in the background here, but which bit we're talking about right now, the LGBT thing with Bud Light. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not surprised. I mean, I'm more surprised that Target actually jumped and reacted the way they did, and some of the other companies have been more reactionary. But Bud Light, like you said, is just seeming to just continue to go right down that road and plow on ahead. So yeah, I don't know what kind of, like Culture was just saying before, I don't know what kind of ESG money they're getting out of this or what, but I guess hopefully it's worth it, because I've seen some of the rebates and stuff people have been posting online. That can't be good, because that means they're trying to get rid of, stock they can't get rid of.
Yeah.
I mean, Tom, sometimes if you have a really shit movie, you offer a rebate on it or pair it with another movie that people may want to see. It happens, right?
Yeah, it does. I literally walked through the beer cooler at this gas station close by my house. They have like a walk-in beer cooler, and there was stacks and stacks of Anheuser-Busch products in there.
Jesus.
All the other beer in there was pretty low. I mean, there was a little bit here and there, but the Anheuser-Busch stuff, it was stacked up in there, going nowhere.
Well, yeah, I mean, no one's going. Yeah, aren't they going to have to buy it back now? Isn't that what I
Yeah,
was
they are.
hearing?
They're buying it back.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
That's what I mean by the rebates. Like you go into these stores and it'll say $6.95 after mail-in rebate, and what you do is you take your receipt with whatever they give you at the counter, or you go online, and then Bud Light will send you a check for whatever the difference is.
Jeez.
So yeah, it's costing them a lot more than you'd think at the end of the day, because they're just paying to get rid of all this stock, because otherwise it probably costs them more at the end of the day to buy it back and just
dispose of it and
dispose of it and
deal
all
with
that shit,
it.
yeah.
Jesus. I mean, that's like a lesson in how not to do business, isn't it? Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch.
Yep,
It's
but
like-
then you see other companies turning around and doing similar type crap, and it's like, I mean, are any of these people paying attention or reading the room here?
Well, I wonder, what's the end goal at this point? Do they think that does that like I'm Anheuser-Busch CEO, right? And I clearly
really?
know something's going wrong. No, I'm just positive, right?
I know. I
clearly know something's going on because we've changed our marketing tactics. We've adjusted and changed. We put out a new advert, different new ad campaign. I clearly think something's wrong, but then I go and do this anyway. Like, what's the fucking end goal? What would you do? Why are you doing this? Like, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think people are just going to go, it's fine now? Is that like that? In my head, I'm like, that must be what he's thinking. He must genuinely, sincerely think that people are just going to forget and it's fine. Is that it? Because what's the end goal? Why would you do that as a business?
I think it has a lot to do with what Andre was saying, talking about the Disney and the Star Cruiser Hotel is their world reality is completely different than the real world.
They've acknowledged the world reality. This is the issue. They've actually acknowledged it by putting out those other ad campaigns. This is why
afterwards though.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
But why would you? Yeah, but this is what I mean. They've already acknowledged that it's up shit creek. So then why would you then keep doing it? Do you see what I mean?
Oh, as far as them keeping on doing it, oh god, I have no clue.
Yeah, this is what I mean. Like they've obviously acknowledged that something's happening and it's that it's real bad because they
like, okay, now let's do the Pride Parade thing.
Their patriotic marketing, and then they were like, don't worry about it. We should do a Pride Parade. What? Do you think it's a contract that they couldn't get out of? Like, I don't understand the mindset.
They have to get their ESG money back. They are hanging by a thread in ESG right now because they just lost their corporate equality index score from the Human Rights Campaign. The HRC they suspended their 100% CEI score, and it screwed their ESG. They are trying to recover that and be better allies to the alphabet mafia.
Good God. If I was in charge of things, I would ban this ESG crap from the entire country.
Hey, we've been hearing states and different federal officials talk about that for a while. And there are some states that are bringing that about. There are also states that are outlawing digital currency.
Yeah, the CBDCs, which are also not a good thing.
No, they're very bad. Very bad.
I'm all about crypto, but not CBDCs.
Good. Mo Sislak for $20 dropped in here, says when it comes to woke causes, it's better for these corporations to be late to the party. The problem is these woke marketing execs need to justify their positions, salaries. But not in this case, because they already know that the wrong move. I guess it goes back to what you were saying, just ESG. I guess
They need that. Tom, correct me if I'm wrong. They need that money.
Well, they wouldn't if they would just start making crap people want. But yes, at this point, they are so in for it pound for pound that I guess they don't know any other way, or it's just must be that much money and influence that I'm sure it's more than just money on top of it, right? It's political influence and other things like that. And I'm
Yeah,
sure
but
that's
their
part of the
main
reason why Disney's acting the way it is over this whole Reedy Creek deal is because of I'm sure they've done their part for ESG. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
no, I don't have much else to say. Really, I just think it's just dumb and bizarre and just weird.
Well, we have
Odd.
gotten such a response from our video about how that's exactly how this works, and there's some people who don't want you to see that video because they don't want you to know how it works. Of course, those people on the other side, and yeah, 9 billion lost in a week. And I just heard about the Target thing, but like, look, that was a dumb move on Target's part.
But it's the same thing. It's the same reasoning. It's the same motivations. It's the same group of corporations, and they're being forced into these positions by, and I'm going to say the bad words here: BlackRock, Blackstone, State Street. I can keep going down a list of all the bad guys here, but they are all pushing for this because it's an authoritarian control mechanism. If they can control what you are consuming at all levels, at all times, they can engineer society the way that they want it. So it's more malleable and controllable. And the bonus is they get to reduce the population at the same time. So there you go.
Yeah.
What kind of gear am I on? I'm not going to entertain this question.
Creatine, steak and chicken and fish.
I'm on essential amino acids, L-glutamine elite, creatine, pure, yeah, stuff like that. Really,
arginine. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of those great. Yeah.
John Apocalypse for $2 says, "Oh, £2, not $2. Sorry. What damage companies face financially for low ESG?
They don't get access to cheap money or free money.
It's just a fund, isn't it? But this is the thing: if you separate yourself from it, you'd make more money in the long run."
But see, now they're starting to use the banking system to circumvent this. Again, basically, this is a corporate social credit score. That's what ESG is. ESG, CEI, and their requirements for DEI are all about corporate control at its base level. And the problem is, as long as these executives are making $23 to $100 million a year, they don't care.
Right. Well, and I mean, again, like part of what I was saying was sarcasm and mixed with a bit of others things because look, culture's right. Some of them, they kind of have to adhere to some of this crap. Why? Because of this ESG score. Why? Because they can't get a loan for something otherwise. What I'm afraid of is this is going to start spilling over into the private sector. This is the kind of thing we see in sci-fi. But it's going to get to the point where it's actual reality.
It's like 1984
type shit. Exactly.
Yeah. It's using as a bloody manuscript.
But no, like that's the whole thing with why Bud Light is probably doubling down, because if they don't, they're going to lose even more points than they already have. They've already been downgraded.
Southern Bell for $2 says, "Why no suit against banks issuing credit lines?" What's that in relation to?
As far as like playing into the ESG money and culture, I think you probably have
okay. So here's the thing: the ESG is controlled by these large investment funds. Again, I mentioned one of them. The big bad guy here is the Fink-run BlackRock. So just put that in your mind as the big bad guy. There's a lot of other bad guys, but they're the biggest. So they're the ones that actually grant these funds actually grant these monies. They also artificially prop up the stock prices for these, but at the same time, they control the housing market through real estate investment trusts. They control banks, their investments in banks. They put board members because of their investment. They're allowed to have a say in the slate of board members in these corporations, and those those board members are lackey dogs. I mean, Iger is one of them, and Iger at one point in time was on multiple boards, and both of the boards he was on when he was on both Disney and Apple was a conflict of interest because they were both developing a competing streaming product. In fact, they both had basically the same kinds of bone structure for their streaming projects, so it was very much a conflict of interest. But there, you could certainly try to go about doing that. I don't know to what effect that would do anything. What I do see is somebody bringing suit, as somebody who's mentioned in the chat, in a super chat here, somebody bringing suit based over the abandonment of fiduciary duty to the shareholders. See, and there's a difference between how we operate and how woke capitalism operates. Woke capitalism, which is really not that, it's just it's a couple steps away from being socialist, neo-Marxist, and then eventually authoritarian entirely, which means you're all going to starve to death, by the way. But what they could do is bring suit based on the lack of fiduciary duty, because shareholders are owed that, and it's in the company bylaws from the very beginning, and it's actually written into the securities law. Well, under stakeholder capitalism, now mind you, it's entirely another word, then they actually interject these moral items into something that is so they're not interested necessarily in a financial return. They're interested in all these moral things being what they see as moral. Their morals, imposing their morals, is more important than a profit. So it's an abandonment of fiduciary duty. I tell you what, if you watch both of Andre's videos over on Midnight's Edge, he and Tom put together brilliant stuff, and I imagine there's a follow-up on the way. But the reason that this happens is for that reason, and so you can certainly go about it that way, do an end run, with a shareholder suit. To what end, I don't know, and it would take a long time to get through there. Theoretically, if you look at the shareholder suit that's being done by the Locals Union 767 against Disney, that is kind of an end run as well, because it addresses a lot of the things that are being done inside the corporation that do not suit the fiduciary duty of to shareholders. So there you are, for whatever that means. So
yeah, just real quick, the chap who did the super chat,
it's way up there a bit. Yeah,
no, I'm not on about that.
Oh.
Wait, the chap who asked the question of what kind of gear I'm on, and then said bullshit, and then proceeded to list off a bunch of stuff. Just to reiterate, this is why this question is completely moot, because if you feel the need to ask the question, and I've addressed this before on Twitter, it's a foregone conclusion that you have a biased opinion. So it actually doesn't matter what I say, basically, because you already have your preconceived notion, and that's why it's completely irrelevant me even answering it. I could answer yes, no, this, that. You have your own opinion. It's completely irrelevant. That's why. I'm not here promoting any form of fitness remotely. I wouldn't have, I don't have the camera on in videos anymore. I certainly wouldn't be in a tank top. It's just because it's in my office right now, we're looking at 30 odd degrees. It's really, really hot. So make no mistake, I'm not trying to show off. I don't want to show off. I don't do anything like that on my channel. This isn't a channel for that. And that's why those kind of questions are wholly irrelevant and not something I would address ever, simply because you already have your own opinion.
He has an OnlyFans page for all that.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. It's called H Loves Ray or Brie or some shit like that. I don't fucking know. But no, it's just completely irrelevant, mate. There's no point. I'm not a fitness channel. This isn't what I don't talk about fitness remotely. This isn't that kind of channel, buddy. And you already have your own opinion, so it's completely irrelevant. It's a moot point. But speaking of bodies, my back is absolutely hurting right now. So we're going to blitz through some of these. We don't have any more topics, so we're going to blitz through some of these super chats. D-Dinks, I think, for £5 says the ESG score has taken priority over the fiduciary duty to make money. Yes, which is odd because it was initially there to make money.
Well, and it's also
But then they've lost money as a result of trying to get that money. It's really dumb. It doesn't make any sense.
You're targeting a point. In some cases, one of those minorities is so extreme. You're targeting a 0.025% portion of the population. That's not going to change your bottom line at all.
No.
In fact, it's detrimental. It's antithetical to profit, to say it
Massively.
properly.
Mo Sislak for $10 says, by the way, did you gentlemen see the Target Pride onesie for infants? It almost sounds like a joke. Isn't that the
Yep.
tuck thing?
Yeah.
Onesie
Yeah.
that you
Yeah,
can
that's
tuck
where
into.
Target.
Yeah.
That's
with light,
really disgusting.
it actually says with light binding
Yeah.
on the tag. Yeah. In fact, it inspired me to create this.
That's really bad.
Yeah, see the thoughtfully fit on multiple body types and gender expressions. That's on a kid's garment, folks.
Yeah, that's
Almost
not
feels
good.
like they're trying to push it like a training bra.
Yeah.
It's aggressively preening is what they're trying to do, because I can't say the G word
Yeah.
on Nate's channel.
And they had a shirt that
careful.
said Satan respects your pronouns.
Pronouns. That's right. Satan respects pronouns.
Yeah.
But
Target had
to be
that.
fair, no. To be fair, that shirt
No.
Target didn't have that, but what they did have is products from the company that made that.
Yeah, the designer who's a Satanist. So yeah, a bunch of their products. Yeah, like they make a pin that says headrest for what do they call us for people that are something like that. Anyway, and it was a guillotine.
But anyway,
yeah, it's really
this C-Man for $5 says, why is there no counter ESG investment group? Seems like a missed opportunity.
They're working on it. They're working on it. Yeah.
Well,
go ahead.
So it's BlackRock and the other one, Vanguard. They dropped their ESG.
Vanguard bailed out of it. Yeah.
Which is a pretty major move because they're a massive company.
Because they saw the writing on the wall and they know that BlackRock's playing with fire. And BlackRock's I'm going to say bad words. BlackRock is balls deep in China right now in the real estate market, and that's on the cusp of complete collapse. China's economy is headed south as fast as well, I'm not going to go into that, but they're in big trouble over there, and they are right now saber rattling because they don't have access to high end chips that they can manufacture themselves. Because I think it's ASML is the only company that makes the manufacturing equipment to do that. That's a Danish company, and they have agreed not to sell that equipment to China with a deal with the United States. So they're boycotting Micron chips from the United States, which means they're not going to be able to make any high tech electronics in China at all. Yeah, China's put themselves in a very poor position, which is another reason why they're saber rattling around Taiwan. But this is not a geopolitical channel, so that's an entirely different and broader conversation. But as far as why is there no counter movement, that one, I don't know. I mean, you have people trying to develop a parallel economy, which actually one of the products is called parallel economy, but it doesn't happen overnight, and you have to create a fund that people are going to invest in that just does everything the exact opposite of this ESG stuff. It's purely based on profits. Well, good luck, putting that together. You need a consortium of billionaires that are aligned with the same ideology, which we don't seem to be able to get those guys together. You'd need Musk and Thiel and a few other folks to kind of align and make that happen. I think Peltz would be a good grab there too, but there are some billionaires that are just not down with this. So there's a future. Anyway, I'll shut up because otherwise we'll be here forever.
It's all right. That does actually wrap it up now, I'm afraid, guys. So Nick, you got Chill Stream coming up, ain't you, mate?
Yep, Chill Stream tonight, and then of course our EBN meetup in Nashville. If there's anybody out there in the Nashville area, we'll be at the ICCC convention there this weekend. Got a lot of people coming out, so it should be a fun time.
Tom, what you got coming up, buddy? I can see we crossed like $3,500 on your thing now, so that's really
good. We did. Thank you
cool.
So much, guys, and we're gonna keep it going for a little longer because again, I have no idea how much it's all going to cost when it's all said and done. But thank you, everybody who's shared and donated. It's going to make all the difference in the world, and I appreciate it. And there's not much I can say other than just thank you. But yeah, I'll be on WDW Pros here in a little bit, and then I'll be on Mead and. then probably on the Throwdown, or what is it, Thursday? That's the Throwdown, right? Culture.
Yep, over on Comics Channel. Yeah, we try to get Nate over there, but it's like 4 in
He'd
the
have
morning.
to get up in the middle of the night or something.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, you just crossed 3.6. So there
Yes,
you go, mate.
very
Good.
humbling and amazing. I mean,
Good.
the outpouring is just crazy. Thank you
Good.
guys so much.
Culture, we got happening, mate.
Same thing as Tom. I mean, from here, I get a little bit of a break, not much. Then I'm headed to WDW Pros for the Pro Show, which is on Thursdays, and then after that, Comics Division's channel for the Thursday Throwdown. Normally, I drop in on Mead, but I have a family obligation I have to fulfill. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Guys, main channel, everything's just plodding along as per the norm. Second channel is linked in the description box, Mistakes Reviews Live Archives, where these videos go, and also they get clipped and the best bits go up there. I will say, just as a quick aside, June, what is it? So next week, shows are going as normal. They should be anyway, but then categorically June 8th, so 30th, June 8th, there will be no show then at all. I need to get an early night. I've got to get up very early, and I've got to drive about 6-7 hours the following day. So there will be no show 2 weeks from now. Okay, so just as a heads up, I'll do another community post about it and things like that, but that show's not happening. And then the following week after that, I haven't quite decided, but there may be no podcasts. There may be, but there may not be. We'll decide a little bit closer to the time. Reason being, I would have got my life back a little bit. No more dieting, all that stuff, and I might just want to take a bit of a breather. So we'll see. I might like. I really love what I do here, so I might just be itching to go again. So we'll see. But I don't want to promise anything and then not deliver. I'd rather under promise and over deliver. Basically, don't raise the expectations. So that's about it from me and everyone else. Thank you so much. Do appreciate you guys joining me and everyone else here. Hit subscribe on their channels. Their links are down below. But again, from me and everyone else, thank you so much. Take care. Peace out. Bye-bye now.
All right.
See you guys.